We bought some bugs. My dog wants all the attention. Um, it's January 2026. I wanted to share some of the books I got. Today I went to Manayunk with some friends. We have two bookstores there. It's Cupid's Bookshop and Philadelphia. They're very cool, small, local bookstores. One highlighting horror and thriller, the other one romance, of all sorts of subgenres. And if I ever am in Manayunk, I have to pick up something there. It's just a given. I don't even think about going to Manayunk unless I get those things. My dog is sniffing all the things off the side over here. But we're gonna be breaking this into two videos because not only am I gonna talk about the books that I got at Manayunk today, I also want to share the books I read for January. It is the end of January, and so we're gonna be doing a review slash situation on the other video. So this is only the first one. This video that you are watching is the one where we talk about what I got at the bookstores. And so what we ended up doing was, after we ended up eating at Soma, which is a phenomenal place, we ended up stopping at Philadelphia first. Now, the goal was to only get one book from every store. So two. I got two from each store. I couldn't help it. When we were in there was a book that really caught my eye. It was called When Bad Boys, like, it was like when boys, like, I don't even know. I forget if I remember, I'll put it up there, but I'll put it like somewhere over here, what it's called. But it was really interesting. I was actually about to pick it up, and then my friend, who doesn't really get into thrillers, she's just starting to get into it, but she was talking about how she saw this book about like some like people trapped in a train, and they were like they were dying, and I was like, let's try it out. So we ended up figuring out what the book was. Just to give it also a preface, because I'm just kind of hopping into this. I like different genres of reading. My main one is obviously romance, fantasy. As you can see, some of my bookshelf here. There's a little bit, some on the lower end that you can't see. I grew up reading a lot of supernatural, paranormal, sci-fi, but I would say that my home base is fantasy. I'm a writer, and so I'm also writing a romantic fantasy. I would say at this point it's like more like an epic fantasy that is romantic. It's not like crazy, sorry, oh, I just came in. It's not like just like, it's not like a low, like I put in some world building into it. And so yeah, I really like those genres. And so I just actually within the past 7 years started reading horror. Not often. I actually, in the beginning couple years, I focused mainly on reading them during the October fall season, and now I've gotten to a point where I find myself looking for them outside of the October Halloweenish era. My dog just brought a ball over to play. So we'll start with the Philadelphia books. I got two, like I said. So the first one I got is called With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. This was the one on the train, so I'm going to read the synopsis and tell you my initial thoughts when picking it up. So, one train, no stops, a deadly game of survival and revenge. In 1942, 6 people destroyed Anna Mathan's family. 12 years later, she's ready for retribution. Under false pretenses, Anna has lured those responsible for her family's downfall onto a luxury train from Philadelphia to Chicago, an overnight journey of 13 hours. Oh my gosh. Anyway, her goal: confront the people who wronged her, get them to confess their crimes, and deliver them into the hands of authorities waiting at the end of the line. Justice will at last be served. But Anna's plan is quickly derailed by the murder of one of the passengers. As the train barrels through the night, it becomes clear that someone else on board is enacting their own form of revenge, and that they won't stop until everyone else is dead. With time running out before the train reaches the destination, Anna is forced to hunt the killer in the mist while protecting the people she hates the most. In order to destroy her enemies, she must first save them, even if it means putting her own life at risk. And I'm going to move you to Bird before I continue. So, with that being said, I thought this was a very interesting read. I always love it when, like, they get, like, a thriller where, a group of people are trapped. That's, like, my bread and butter. I don't know why. I think there might be something wrong with me with that, but I just like the idea, like, they can't escape. And so they're kind of stuck in this setting that is just so confined. And it's also very challenging for a writer as well to write a story where everything is taking place in one particular area, which is inside of a train in this case. So this book was made by Riley Sager, who also did another book that I was interested in. I think it was called The Only One Left, I believe. I actually saw the one in the store. I really want to pick it up, but then I saw this. That was used. This is a used book, so I got it for half off. So it's like $14, but I mean, it's a hardback, so you get what you get, but it's in good condition. So that's gonna be an interesting one to read. The next book I ended up getting from the store was actually a last minute pickup. I was actually drawn to the cover, and when I read it, I got even more intrigued. I'm very much a person that enjoys like horror in a sense of like social justice, like it has some sort of message behind it. Like when I was reading the book, We Came to Welcome You to the Neighborhood, something like that. That one was kind of like a spin-off of a Jordan Peele movie, perfect suburban lifestyle and acclimating to this like white view. Like it was like a lesbian family, one Korean, one Dominican, black Dominican couple ended up moving into a gated neighborhood that had supernatural elements and things, and they talked about racism and discrimination and like homophobia, all the things. And so when I read this one, I was like, this screams Ashley, and I'm gonna read the cover. So this one was also made by, written by a Black woman. And so I always try to find books that are POC authors as much as I can. I find that my romantic reads, and I actually do want to get into a video on kind of like my history with picking certain books, even from a young age. But the short part of it is truly, I don't read a lot of POC, not necessarily because I don't want to. It's just something that it doesn't, like, I don't gravitate to because that's how I was raised, to only pick up the mainstream books. And so I made it a point to be like, I'm really going to have to lean into like reading POC, just because like I'm also a POC writer. So I definitely want to get into books of people that look like me. And I find that I lean that way a lot when it comes to thrillers and horrors, not necessarily romance. I do want to change that. I think there's like one or a few books I picked. I've been picking a lot of like, I think the other romance book I read was made by a Korean woman, but ultimately I do want to do better with that. And so this is part of it. So here we go. So this one is called One of Our Kind. Like, so when Jasmine and King Williams moved their family to the planned Black utopia of Liberty, California, they hoped to find a community of like-minded people where their 6-year-old son can thrive. Liberty is a place of expensive homes, all Black police force, and statues of their heroes, MLK, Malcolm X, and W.E.B. Du Bois. King settles in at once, embracing the Liberty ethos, including the Lux Wellness Center at the top of the hill, which proves to be the heart of the community. But Jasmine struggles to find her place. She expected to find other liberals and social justice activists, but Liberty residents seem more focused on living the good life and ignoring the world's troubles. Why won't any of her neighbors talk about the recent spate of police brutality in Los Angeles? Is it strange that King's friends have begun to shave off their locks and afros? And what happened to the family that lived in Jasmine's house before her? Culminating in a shocking twist, One of Our Kind is a razor-sharp satire about resistance, trauma, community, and the Black experience in America. I am really looking forward to this book. This is probably one of the first ones I read. I always like to find a twist, especially coming from, we talk about how there's this Black experience and not every Black person has the same experience. And I always am curious to see the route they take with it. So I am very much looking forward to this book. And this is a psychological horror. It was in that category in the bookstore. So, but that's all I got at Philadelphia. And meanwhile, when we were at Philadelphia, I stumbled across a lovely and nostalgic blast from the past. Girl Scout cookies! I was just talking to my coworker about this like a month ago about like, I'm ready for these Girl Scout cookies, where are they at? And basically, we got them. I was like, they were standing by Philadelphia of all places. And Juniper's like, you got some cookies? Can we get some cookies? Can we get some cookies? And so I got Thin Mints. My all-time, you really like Thin Mints. You ain't getting them. You ain't getting none. Thin Mints are my all-time favorite cookie of Girl Scouts. I used to be a Girl Scout. Always Girl Scout cookies. Always Thin Mints. But the one cookie that I grew to love, I didn't care for them in the beginning, but I started to like them, so they're now my next favorite. Juniper's sniffing the crap out of them right now. Is Caramel Delights. They used to be called Samoas. I love these things. They're so good. So I got these as well. Juniper, enough. So that's what I ended up getting in the realm of Philadelphia. After we went there, we ended up walking to Cupid's Bookshop. And the thing is with me in Cupid's Bookshop is that when it comes to romance, I scour the internet for books that I would like. Sorry, he's giving me. Why is he? Fix your mouth. And so what I typically do is I have a Barnes & Noble's Premium. And so what I do is I just stack up my cart with all the books I'm interested in, so that when time comes when I'm going to places or whenever I get spontaneous amount of money that I could just spend on books, I just hit and go. And when I tell you, I had 11 books in my cart. A lot of them also don't come out like until like February and March. So there's just some that are just like pre-orders, but it's good to still remember which ones. And so I was like, I'm gonna pick as many as I can from my list. And I only picked one from the list, and the other book was one that I saw on social media that would have ultimately ended on my list, but I just didn't get around to it yet. So a little caveat there. But the books I ended up getting, as you know, as you could tell by the shirt here, hint towards the next one, the next video. But I have been really getting into gay romances lately. I actually a couple years ago read a book called Spellbound that was a non-binary character and a gay man, and I think he was bisexual actually. I don't remember, but the point is that I also wanted to beef up on my LGBT books and things like that, and so queer books, and so Heated Rivalry was one of the biggest ones I've done. I have Red, White, and Royal Blue. Again, the Spellbound, and then I also have some that have like queer, subtle, but it's not like subtle romances, but not like the focal point of the book. And so I was like, let's just get into this. Let's just keep reading other things. I swore up and down that I'm not a hockey person. I'm gonna say this point blank period. I don't know one lick about hockey. I honestly think this may be a hot take. I'm actually not a hockey stan. I don't understand why hockey is such a big deal in the book thing. I would actually be more interested if it was like rugby. Imagine gay romance rugby. I can get with that. Like lacrosse even. There was this one book I was trying to find. It's called The Prospects. It was a baseball one. That's the one I was trying to find. But unfortunately I couldn't find it. But if you ever find a rugby one or even an ice skating one, like I know there's like the cute girl and the hockey boy, like the cute skater girl, whatever. But I want to find one where it's 2 male skaters. Pair skating, like Blades of Glory, but romance, not like the actual Blades of Glory, because that would be insane. But like that sort of vibe. Not as raunchy though. And it can be funny, but you know, more romantic. But all to say is I picked up Him. I heard this was really good. I saw Us in the store, but I didn't want to buy Us if I didn't like Him. So I decided to do this one first. It is by Sarina Bowen. I actually ended up, she told me that where is it? She, when I purchased it, it came, oh, here it is. It came with, a sticker. Apparently this isn't the book, but it has her name on it. And then it says Thrown for a Loop. I guess this is another book that she has. Ice skater and hockey player, I guess. But, I don't, like I said, I don't intend on staying in hockey for too long. It is what it is. But I am looking forward to reading this as well. So looking forward to that one. And then the last book I ended up getting is one that just came out. I don't remember where I saw this, but I was really intrigued by, I think it was just like one of those like Instagram posts of just like naming all the tropes and stuff. But I ended up getting the Redo List. It looked really good. It's something about like a second chance romance. It's girl falls in love with her brother's best friend. Like, it was like a whole thing. So I want to read this one, and I forgot I wanted to read the synopsis for him. So, but for the synopsis for the Redo List is, what would you do with a second chance at your first time? Following a bad breakup, Willow Lewis tackles a redo list with the help of her brother's best friend in this sweet, sexy new romance. I don't want to get into the synopsis, like the full blown, because it's crazy long, but I think that pretty much sums up what we're in for, and I'm living for it. I can't wait. In regards to him, however, it says they don't play the same team, or do they? Oh my gosh. So Jamie Canning has never been able to figure out how he lost his closest friend. 4 years ago, his tattooed, wisecracking, rule-breaking roommate cut him off without any explanation. I wonder why. So what if things got a little weird on the last night of hockey camp this summer? They were 18. It was just a little drunken foolishness. Nobody died. That would be a twist. Ryan Wesley's biggest regret is coaxing his very straight friend into a bet that pushed the boundaries of their relationship. Now with their college team set to face off at the national championship, he'll finally get a chance to apologize, but all it takes is one look at his longtime crush, and the ache is stronger than ever. Jamie has waited a long time for answers, but walks away with only more questions. Can one night of sex ruin a friendship? If not, how about 6 more weeks of it? Logic. When Wesley turns up to coach alongside Jamie for one more hot summer at camp, Jamie has a few things to discover about his old friend, and a big one to learn about himself. So it says, warning, contains sexual situations, hotties on hockey skates, skinny dipping, shenanigans in an SUV, and proof that coming out to your family on social media is a dicey proposition. Sounds like a great time. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, that is all the things I got at my adventures today. And so I'm really looking forward to reading these. I will be giving updates. I actually do need to update the ones that I'm about to share in the next video of the books I have finished for January. I just been waiting a little bit because I was kind of waiting till the end of January to share it. But yeah, so thank you for staying, and thank you for watching this fully, and I will see you next time.